Got a lot of Lionchief? Well, we do. So we got ourselves a Lionchief Universal Remote. It's really simple, and it essentially replaces 3 individual remotes to make things a little easier for you. You can pair any 3 remotes, and pairing different remotes is super simple. So even if you have more than 3, you're typically not running more than 3 at a time, and this will simplify that process quite a bit for you. There's a few more things to learn, but we'll go through that in this video. To get started, you'll want to apply track power, and I recommend pairing up any engines that you don't want to have on the universal remote with their respective remotes, whether they're Lionchief, TMCC, or otherwise. Because once you turn on the universal remote, it will start looking for any Lionchief or compatible engines to pair up to. So if you want to use the remote for those, you want to get those going first. In our case, this top line is a perfect example on where you'd want to use a universal remote because you can essentially set it and forget it. Once I pair up this top line with this Lionchief Union Pacific Flyer 4520, then I just turn it on and I can switch to another channel and let him go because it will hold the engine at whatever speed it was at before. Down here, I've got this Pennsylvania, this K4, and it's on channel 2. And it's stopped, so I'm going to start it up from that stop position on the remote. It's really not too picky. The throttle position thing can get a little confusing at first, but I'll cover that a little bit more later in this video. Over here is our third example, and this is going to be used here as a switcher, which is another thing that I kind of like to do with these universal remotes is to assign them to engines that you're either not going to be using at that point in time or that you can utilize later. And in this case, our GP7 is actually an excellent switcher engine because it can utilize electrocouplers. If you press and hold shift and the appropriate electrocoupler button, it will release that specific coupler. And this makes it really easy to utilize in the yard, but not exactly have your hands tied up with having another remote. Quick side note, our GP7 doesn't like being a switcher because it likes to derail on these fast track switches. Not really sure why. I'll address that later, I suppose. I still like using 2 remotes. One with the universal remote to handle the upper line and switcher and one mainline engine. And then the second remote is just being used for the other mainline engine because when we have 4 engines going, there's typically only 2 in motion on the main line. Now you can switch between different engines by clicking on engines that are on the universal remote. You just need to speed match essentially with the throttle, or you can click the number of the engine a second time and it will match that engine speed to wherever the throttle position is. So the throttle matching is pretty easy to do and it makes it really simple to operate. The universal remote is also very handy if you're into secondhand collecting like we are. This K4 did not have a remote when we got it. I've seen other Lionchief engines sold without remotes, and typically they go for a lower price when they don't have all the equipment included. So that can give you versatility and help your wallet a little bit. Plus, if you have any legacy engines that don't have a remote, this works for those too. It's very versatile. I really only have 2 complaints about the universal remote. The first is that there is a really strong notched position for the top point between reverse and forward. You really got to push through it. And that can be a little bit tricky to do delicate maneuvers in the switch yards. The regular Lionchief controllers are much smoother at that top point, but I suppose it's just more of a feel thing to get used to, perhaps something that will get broken in over time. I do, however, like that it essentially lets you put it into an easy crawl mode because just before the off position is the slowest position of the engine. So if you really wanted to creep, you can do that super easily. My other wish is that these would work with TMCC engines because they're kind of the black sheep right now. These do work with Legacy Command, they work with Lionchief, but TMCC is unfortunately just in that middle where it can't be controlled remotely with this Lionchief remote. I get why, and it's not the end of the world because these things aren't too hard to come by. They're actually a lot cheaper. That's part of the reason why we run it on our main line. Lionchief has been great to utilize on our line, especially since I've got a young one at the controls. And these Lionchief controls are easy for him to use, and it didn't take him that much longer to figure out all those little extra controls that the different engine selections throw in there. He's taken to it pretty easily, and he's able to control all the different lines, and he's enjoying it, and so am I. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment if you got any questions. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Your support means a whole lot. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.